began our limud of Hilchos Toiloim, which means that in certain cases you have to check vegetables and fruit for bugs. You're not supposed to eat bugs. And we learned yesterday that not everything has to be checked for a bug. It's only something which there is, just to put it in a sentence, a miyut hamatsui of bugs there. A miyut hamatsui means it's likely to find. You don't always find, you don't mostly find, but it's a miyut hamatsui. And I made the halachic statement yesterday that a miyut hamatsui is a rov d'Rabbanan. That's a good klal to keep in mind. Miyut hamatsui is a rov d'Rabbanan. At some point in the future, we have to define what a bug is. Also not so simple. Bug is shoyret halar, it's something that comes from the earth as opposed to something that comes from the earth. But I just want to mention another halacha. Let's say, think about this because somebody called me about this yesterday, something that you really need to check, but they didn't, or they thought it was checked, and they cooked with it. So now, is that tavshil mutter or asur? You're allowed to eat the soup or you're not allowed to eat the soup? One of the things that you really have to check is flour. So usually, let's say somebody sifts their flour, which is what you have to do. We have to talk about that. But they didn't sift their flour. They thought they sifted their flour. They didn't sift their flour, so now they bake the bread with the flour. So presumably, your challah might have some bugs in it. So, it doesn't seem to, when we were in camp, we drank bug juice. Not sure what that is. I've been thinking about it for about 50 years. But the Shulchan Aruch says as follows. Dvarim ha'ma'usim shenafshay shel adam katsa b'hem. Siman kuf dal terubas. That if something is a davar ma'us, shenafshay shel adam katsa b'hem, that you would never eat. That's not something you would eat. It's disgusting. For instance, kidavolim, zvuvim, yitushim. Is anybody going to eat a fly or a mosquito? Or nobody's going to eat that kind of a thing. It's gross. Shekol adam boidel behem libiyusin. Everybody stays away from them. Nobody's eating them in our culture. So says the Shulchan Aruch, afilu nisarvu b'tavshil v'nimcha gufa l'taychan. Even if they will be in your tavshil and they absorbed nimcha. Dissolved. They dissolved into the meichel. So as long as, says the Shulchan Aruch, beheter rabba alav mutar. As long as there's more soup than there is bugs, it's mutar. It would be a good chumrah, says the Shulchan Aruch, to put it through a strainer, put the soup, let's say, through a strainer. Not everything can you strain. You can't, but if it's something you can strain, it says it's a good hanhaga to strain and not just leave the bugs there. What do we see from here? We see that since it's a davar ma'us, it's something which is repulsive. So then the halacha is, as long as you have roiv, it's okay. Why is that okay? So it's actually a machlokas rishonim, but I'll combine it into one. One reason it's okay, because it's no say tab lifgab. So anything that's no say tab lifgab is not an isser deraisa any longer. You can't eat an actual insect, but in terms of it giving flavor, it's giving a bad flavor. So therefore, you don't need shishim. The Shulchan Aruch here says you need rov. You need a rov of heter. That's the thing. Otherwise, you're eating the thing itself. You go with a deraisa din. So 51% of it has to be soup. Think about this, 49% of it can be ants. That's a rov. That's not batul b'shishim, not a liquor. It's better to straighten it out afterwards. Now, I just really hurt your cultural thoughts here. The Ramah says, yeah, but there's an exception to this. But there's a din of avodah zarah that there's one repulsive thing which is not batul, a mouse. A mouse runs into the wine barrels and gets lost there. It's never batul. Why is it never batul? Because it makes the wine taste better. And since it makes the wine taste better, it's not nosei tab lifgam. So you from a taste point of view, from a connoisseur point of view, you may want that mouse to be there. So now you need either shishim or it's never bottle. So you got to be careful in the wine cellars that there's no mice around. As a matter of fact, from that halacha, which is not so relevant to us, from that halacha we learned, but if it's not a mouse in wine, it's mutter. That's exactly the limud. So, but the thing is that any time that the bug is enhancing the juice, it's actually enhancing it, so then you don't say no sin tam l'fgam. What was the machlokes rishonim? One more time. Machlokes rishonim is, or you can say that it was no sin tam l'fgam, so ripe helps. Or some rishonim say even better, it has no tam. Not everything is no sin tam. It's not that it's no sin tam l'fgam or no sin tam toiv. It's just not no sin tam. Some things, if you put a piece of wood in your soup, it doesn't give any tam at all. And the whole chiddush of taruvos is that first and foremost you have to have it giving some tam, and there are rishonim like the Rashba brings here the Baragola, the Rashba in Teres Habayis, Hakotzer. The Rashba says that bugs give no tam if it's not a mice and wine. Or it gives no time at all, and therefore it's inconsequential in the fact that it's being cooked and dissolved into my soup. I wish everyone a good breakfast and a happy Lag BaOmer.